Alright guys, I wasn't sure if I was going to end up talking about this on the channel because there has been a lot going on in the Fortnite community. It's honestly quite serious because this is just another step in the direction that this whole world seems to be heading in. So there's been drama going around with Scyan. If you want to know him, you might know him from YouTube, you might know him from Twitter, but you might know him as the guy who comes up with the craziest Fortnite storyline theories of all time. So there have been some, I don't know if it's tweets or leaked, I don't know, there's, depending on what you saw, because there's a few things that actually came up, and people are just absolutely jumping down this guy's throat right now, and I did want to talk about it, because this morning at work, I was watching a live stream from Clark Clinton. He actually had Scyan on to talk about the entire situation, and now after hearing what Scyan had to say, I already had my opinions before, but since this is still relevant and I'm still seeing people replying to him on Twitter and I still see people talking about it, I did want to chime in. I did want to give my opinion on it. And I will talk about it in just a second. Before we do though, I do want to say hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's talk about this entire situation. So there's a few things that have come up with Scyan. So let's start with, of course, he came up with a storyline theory, and I'll give my opinion on every single one, but I will just tell you what's been going on with it. There's been three really big ones. So I don't know who initially came up with it, but I've seen a big thread where it's all of a sudden exposing Scyan, okay? And there were three big things. There was one where he related the Fortnite storyline and said it was inspired from World War II. There was another one where he said that the hate for paradigm is worse than cancer. And this third one, which I am taking with a huge grain of salt because it is something incredibly serious. I didn't really understand the context in what I saw. So again, take it with a grain of salt, please. Apparently there was something with him making a comment about somebody that is a little bit underage, which is a very serious subject and was the reason why I wasn't initially going to make a video talking about this, because I'm not armed with the information to talk about this. So the reason I am ignoring it is because one, Scyan is 19. We don't know how long ago that this comment was made. Two, I don't know if it's real. This could have very well been photoshopped. It's quite coincidental that this comes up as soon as everybody's jumping down this guy's throat to hate on him, right? So I am not believing what I see there. There has been, it was one thing, and I don't, until I see Scyan act a certain way, or I see him from his own account write stuff that I just makes me think this situation. I'm trying to be careful with my YouTube words here. I am not relating to this at all, and I think it's crazy if everybody is looking at one little screenshot, which in Scyan's words was taken complete out of context, which people do nowadays, and especially is on Twitter, okay? I don't believe that this accusation against him is real. I don't believe it, but at the end of the day, so you know my position on it, okay? Just so you know my position on it, I think people like that should be buried beneath the ground, okay? I'm not defending that one little bit. I just don't believe what I've seen on Twitter so far, especially in a world that we are in today, you know what I mean? So I'm going to ignore that because that seems to be the least of the issues. I've just seen people talking about that, and I just wanted to mention it a little bit. But again, Scyan said that this was out of context, which that's very easy to do, okay? I'm not going to talk about that part anymore. There is two bigger reasons, and I can't believe that it's bigger. And here's the problem, okay? Let's start with the first one. He said that the hate for the paradigm is worse than having cancer. This is so obviously a joke that I don't even know what to say. I don't understand how people can keep replying to this man and is Scyan, I can't believe you right now. My grandfather died to cancer. And to be honest with you, I've had family members that suffer from cancer too. And I look at that and I don't say, okay, Scyan's attacking my dead grandfather. You know what I mean? That is the furthest thing from what Scyan is trying to do. And this is completely blown out of proportion. And I know there is also a little bit of a movement to hate on this guy because of the way he comes up with his Fortnite storyline theories. So that's just, honestly, I am totally convinced that people coming up with a personal offense to it is just adding to the hate on him, okay? And the other one, which I didn't quite understand because I looked at it and I initially went, huh? And that's it. That was my reaction to it. I went I didn't know what to think about it because he compared the Fortnite storyline and said it was inspired by World War II. He went on Clark Clint's podcast and then eventually explained himself, which, to be honest, made a little bit more sense. I just didn't understand it, but I didn't go oh my god, do you know how many people died in World War II, Scyan? Obviously, Fortnite doesn't have anything to do with that, and people are blowing this so out of proportion. I'm it's two comments. If anything, we I don't get it, man. I don't get it. The one is just you could think it's a dumb theory. it very may well be dumb, okay? But that's the end of it. There's no reason to like equate it to him like hating on, this. I'm trying to be careful with my words again, hating on the fact that 6 million people had to die. That is insane to me. And if you're drawing that conclusion, I don't know where you got that. And it seems like you're looking for just a reason to attack this guy. And the one about cancer, I still don't know what to say to that. Obviously, has nothing, like, obviously, he would rather have people hate the paradigm than people have cancer. Obviously, he wasn't attacking anybody. I don't understand that. I don't get it, man. And this is the big thing, okay? This isn't my own opinion. Like, I've heard this before. I just completely agree with it. So if you've heard this before, I'm not like trying to come up with my own thing here. You know what I mean? People that are just taking things and looking to like just expose Scyan like this and just like come out of it like out of the blue, you know what I mean? And like it'd be valid if it was it'd be valid if it was like actual things he was doing, man. But there was one that was clearly a joke and one that was just a theory that he came up with. You know what I mean? So the people who are looking to like defend the world and defend people so hard, who are like, hey, do you know how many people had family members die of cancer? And you're making a comment like that. Those people are overcorrecting so much that I am so convinced. Like, what have you done? What have you done that you were overcorrecting this much? I would love to take a look into those people's past, because I guarantee you will find something so much worse and something that is legitimately worth canceling somebody for. I guarantee it. Those same very people who are jumping down everyone's throat so quickly where they see one little thing and there's like, oh, we're hating on this guy today. Okay, I gotta be on the right side. You know what I mean? I gotta make sure like I'm with the good guys here. We're hating on Scyan today. We're good. I guarantee you. Every single, and it's not even those people. For like those people, I totally believe that there is something very, very horrible in their past. Like, I wholeheartedly believe that. But I also guarantee you, and this is something that was brought up, and I want to encourage you guys to go watch Clark Clen's podcast with Scyan. This is something that was brought up there. If you looked at anybody's past, you would find dumb jokes. You would find things that, of course, you probably said when you were a kid. You know what I mean? Scyan is only, I believe, 19 years old, if not 20. You're going in this guy's past. He was a kid. He was a kid. Why are you going back and taking a look at anything that he was saying and taking it with validity? If we did that for anybody watching this video, anybody hating on Scyan right now, I guarantee you would find something that is actually worse than what he wrote. I guarantee it. 1000%. So I don't understand why everybody's so quick into just dumping on this guy. Until I see something that's really worth disliking him for, that's pretty much it. I just don't understand this whole world, man. It's absolutely crazy. But actually, speaking of the world, that actually reminded me of something that I did want to touch on, to be honest with you. Another thing that was mentioned in the podcast was Scyan, and this is something that I didn't know. This dude's from overseas, and he just came into Canada. By the way, okay, he's from overseas, and he came into Canada. He didn't know the language, and he didn't know the culture, and that is something that is so true. Like, he's moving in from somewhere overseas, which is like I'm not saying like it's cool. Like, I don't know exactly where he was. I'm saying like a lot of places overseas are not soft like Canada, where he's coming over to literally like the softest place on the planet. And he probably, like, if he would have made that joke overseas, people might have laughed at that. And I'm not saying it's right to laugh at it. I'm not saying it's wrong to laugh at it. I'm saying that he's coming from a different culture and doesn't know the language. And he seemed pretty shocked when people were hating on him for it. And quite frankly, I'm shocked as well. There's an adjustment period for him, and he said he's learning, and I wholeheartedly believe him. I cannot imagine what it would be like to go move to a different culture, because Western and Eastern culture are infinitely different. Infinitely. This guy came in from overseas, and he's expected to just know everything. Whether you think that's right or wrong, I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying, cut this guy some slack, man. He's finally learning the language, and he's trying to make a great thing from something that he loves with a great community behind it. I have not seen anything from him that is worth absolutely dogging on him for. So I want you to think about that today, guys. I want you to think about, what if the entire internet was to take a look at your history? Because I guarantee you, they would find something that you don't want to see. Whether it's your search history, whether it's something you posted, whether it's something in your life that you said to a friend. I guarantee you that there is something that people can dig up from you, and maybe you're a complete changed person, maybe it was from you're a child, Maybe it was all the way back then. There is something out there that you do not want people finding. And I don't believe that anything that we found from Scyan is worth hating on him. So I want you to think about that, guys. And I really want to encourage you to go check out Clark Clint's podcast by it. I will leave it in the pinned comment. I will leave it in the description down below. Either one of the two. For sure, pinned comment. Go check that. Go check that because it was really good. And this guy really opened up. And initially when I did see this, I thought he was handling it completely the wrong way. I thought he was like, because on Twitter he was responding to everybody and he was like, it's tough because everyone was saying he was playing the victim card, which could have been true, but at the end of the day, he was the victim. He was just playing up being the victim. And to be honest with you, like, he was probably hurt, and I think that he let his emotions get the best of him, and that was wrong for him to do. He shouldn't have been in this situation in general. Like, I mean, where people are just attacking him out of nowhere for no reason, and I believe that he probably got angry, he probably got sad, but at the end of the day, he definitely should have kept it all together and handled it the right way. Like, if I was him, and like some jokes that I made came up, and they were obviously jokes, like if it was something like the paradigm hate and cancer thing, if it was something that obvious and people were like brought that up for me and it's like exposing Clen, I would be like, that was a joke. And then I would leave it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even like pay attention to it at all. I'd be like, are you seriously trying to like hate on me for this? That's pretty much it. You know what I mean? But this dude blew it out of proportion. Scyan, like he started replying to everybody on Twitter and just started saying that it's been the worst week of his life and stuff like that. Like, no, man, whether it was or wasn't the worst week of your life, whether you had somebody die in your family, that doesn't matter. You should have held it together, man. He should have held it together, stuck to his guns, not apologized to anybody, and just said, why are you trying to ruin my life with a joke? That's what he should have said. But then at the end of the day, he shouldn't have been in this situation in general. I don't think everybody should have just brought this up out on Twitter. So, I want to point you back to Clark Clint's podcast. That is huge on him for coming up and being the first one to defend him on Twitter, at least from what I've seen. Immediately, he was like, everybody needs to stop jumping down this guy's throat right now. And I really, really commend that. I really do. I want to point you guys to that podcast. Check it out down below. Let me know what your thoughts on this entire situation is, and thank you so much for watching this video, everybody. If you'd like to continue watching the Clen channel, there'll be 2 videos on screen for you to check out, but I highly suggest you check out the video in the pinned comment instead. I will see you regardless in the next video, guys. Take care.